The first letter arrived at 6:12 a.m., no stamp, no return address, just my name, written slowly, carefully, in handwriting I had practiced since childhood. Mine. The kitchen smelled like burnt coffee. The machine hissed, then clicked itself off. Outside, traffic groaned and horns cut through the air. Ordinary mornings have a way of pretending nothing important will happen. I believed that lie solely back then. Inside the envelope was a single page. Don't stay late at work today. Take the earlier train. Trust me. A date sat at the bottom, 10 years ahead. I laughed, because disbelief is how the mind buys time. In English, when something threatens your sense of reality, you say, "This isn't real." I said it while pulling on my coat, while locking the door, while choosing not to think. I followed the instructions anyway. That night, standing in my apartment, something felt wrong. The room looked normal. Couch, table, lamp. But it felt unclaimed, like a hotel room after checkout. The air was colder than usual, and when I set my keys down, the sound echoed too sharply, as if the walls were listening. I tried to remember the last year of my job. The projects, the deadlines, the tired satisfaction at the end of long weeks, working late alongside other men who looked just as worn as I felt. Nothing answered back. In English, people say time flies. But this hadn't flown. It had been cut out, clean and quiet, like a page removed from a book. The next letter came the following morning. Avoid the conversation at 3:40. Do not explain yourself. The language was simple. Short sentences, the kind of English you use when emotion might cause mistakes. Primera, obeyed. Another gap appeared. A friendship dissolved without a memory of an argument. A long-standing bond with another man whose voice I could no longer recall. I could still feel the absence, a dull pressure behind my ribs. Bot premedicaled NAT picture his face. My phone showed old messages I didn't remember writing. By the fourth letter, my hand shook when I checked the mailbox. The instructions changed. Don't argue. Don't resist. Don't choose. Don't is a small word in English, but it carries weight. It stops movement. It removes responsibility. And without noticing when it happened, I began organizing my days around avoidance, shorter conversations, earlier exits, quieter opinions, around silence. Halfway through that week, I didn't open the letter. I left it on the table and watched the light slide across it as the afternoon passed. The paper didn't move, but it felt heavy, like it was pressing down on the room. If the future could reach into your life and correct you, hold that thought while you keep watching. That night, I stood at my desk long after everyone else had packed up. My bag was already on my shoulder. My coat was in my hand. I looked at the clock, then at the door. Leaving would have been easier. Staying felt wrong, but honest. I stood there longer than necessary, letting the discomfort settle, then set my bag back down. I decided not to obey. At exactly 3:40, my phone rang. The sound felt wrong. Too sharp, too close. The room seemed too narrow. My breathing went shallow, loud in my ears. The air felt thick, like I had to push it into my lungs. Even small sounds stretched, keyboards clicking too slowly, footsteps echoing too long. One thought drowned out the rest. Something is about to be taken. I grabbed my coat, Hands clumsy, pulse hammering in my throat. I left early anyway. Half running, convinced I could still undo it if I moved fast enough. Primera, curainte. When I got home, the apartment felt colder. The lights were on, but the corners stayed dark. I recognized the space, but not my place inside it. Photos on the wall showed only places and moments. No people, frozen reminders of choices already made. A notebook on my desk was filled with handwriting I knew was mine, but I didn't remember the nights it came from. The final letter arrived the next morning. Thicker, creased. The paper smelled old, like it had been carried too long. You don't understand how heavy this becomes. I wake up already tired of the choices I avoided. I told myself control would make me better. It didn't. It made me smaller. The next line was pressed hard into the page. The ink uneven. I hate who I became trying to stay safe. I sat there for a long time. Not thinking. Feeling it. I carried the letters to the sink. When the flame caught, the heat bit into my fingers. The pain was sharp, immediate, honest. The words curled, blackened, disappeared. No replacements offered. The next morning, the mailbox was empty. No warnings, no instructions, no future trying to interfere. The silence felt dangerous. Unreal. In English, we talk about safety as if it's neutral, but when you cling to it too long, it thins you out until there's less of you left to lose. So answer honestly, if you could send one message to your past self, warning or permission, one word. Another story is waiting.